All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Reese Live. This is 132. I'm your host, Coach Sean. Alongside with me is Coach Karen, as always, in the members room. And we got
Hello.
Coach Tamra in the socials. And of course, we got our Coach Ryan, our nutritional coach, in the house today, as well as our only head to toe healer doctor. Dr. Kevin Reese, how you doing tonight? Got the bumper stickers out and everything. What's going on, man?
Oh man, I mean,
I'll be the first car to have that bumper sticker.
Are we recording, by the way?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy to report that the two new books were submitted today. So there's two new books on the way. They're being formatted. The cake is being baked.
The cake is being baked.
Don't be confused. The red book is available. The red book is out there, but the blue book and the yellow book are coming. That's right. There's a red book, a blue book, and a yellow book.
Jeez.
So looking to have that out in about a month. One is on anxiety and one is on sleep. And yeah, looking forward to it. That'll be 11 books. So in 11 years, 11 books in 11 years.
A book a year.
So that's coming. So I'm happy to report that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anything special that you want to say about these books really quick, or
I just
let us
hope,
speak?
I hope they help a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of mindfulness training in there, and it's kind of all leading to another book that I'm going to write on mindfulness training, a big book on mindfulness training. That'll probably be 26, maybe.
26 or December?
2026. Yeah.
Interesting.
I would love to do it now,
Mm-hmm.
just while the momentum's going, I could write a book every month, easy. But I also have to, it's also tax season.
A lot of stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
And let me tell you, man, when you have a business, January, February, March,
Robbery.
you should be doing nothing else. Nothing else. And yeah. T-shirts on the way, seminar on the way, bumper stickers on the way.
I love my fake doctor.
Membership is going well. We keep improving it. Coach Ryan has a nutritional class on Sundays, and we advanced it to Thursdays as well. So Thursdays and Sundays. That's 4 postural alignment therapy classes and 2 nutrition classes. That's the best deal in town right there. That's packed.
Yeah.
And we're also going to be opening up a support email soon and start running orientation type calls. So we got some things coming to constantly improve this head to toe healing membership.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've heard from a couple of members about of course, posture alignment therapy classes are popular, but I've been hearing a lot about the nutritional classes, how a lot of people enjoy these a lot. So, feel free to share how you feel about the nutritional classes. Give us feedback about that and the postural classes always. We know most of your opinions about the postural classes, but since the nutritional classes are relatively new, we would love to hear some of you guys' perspectives on that. Any other announcements before we get into this topic?
I'm sure there's more, but we can move on.
As we go.
Before we move on,
Absolutely.
what Ryan's amazing nutritional library he put together? I don't know if that's what we're calling it, exactly, but it is incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's 13 modules,
Yeah.
147.67 hours of nutrition
Couple months.
excitement.
Yeah, it's in Plus member products and recommendations.
It's like an encyclopedia.
I call it the educational library. Just go. One half of the membership is protocols and live classes. The other half is education, because this is a virtual learning membership. So we're focused on teaching you how to be self-sufficient. You shouldn't need to go to
That's
a doctor for chronic disease.
Yeah, and it's important to understand that this thing that we call head to toe healing, it's a practice.
Yeah.
Just like yoga is a practice, meditation is a practice, basketball is a practice, okay? And you got to keep doing it. And so we teach people how to do it and keep doing it. And, the idea is to do it until your last breath. Like, keep doing it. Stay in a state of healing. Always stay in a state of healing. Because if you go in the opposite, what's the opposite direction of healing? Exactly. And so you got two options here. You got the head to toe healing way, and you got the medical monopoly way.
Mm-hmm.
So we're teaching people a practice. Yeah. There's no end. There's no end. It's a practice. There's no end. It's not like 5 months in, your symptoms are down to 0, and you're like, done with that. Let's go have cake.
Hey, we've seen it before. We've seen people, get out of pain or something, or lose a bunch of weight, and they think they're done, and they come on back 5, 6, 8 months later, 2 years later, and say, "What do I do?" And we say, "Well, did you stop? You got to do it again. You got to keep doing it.
Yep. Start over.
If you stop working out at the gym, you lose your muscles."
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Working out is another practice.
Yeah.
It's another example.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Got to keep it going. It's a lifestyle. We have to adapt to it. So I know this topic, we're going to focus more on mindfulness. This is something that it's been a while since the last mindfulness topic. I can't really recollect when the last time we spoke on this, but mental health. What comes to your mind when you think of mental health?
A scam.
Really?
Kind of.
Why is that?
Depends on the perspective, right? If we're like literally talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
then it's the status of your stress, the status of your emotions, the status of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I say, potential scam is because the medical monopoly now promotes it as a disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's a thing. Now someone can say, my 12-year-old is going through bad mental health, or a grown man can take himself out of his job and say, I need a mental health day, or what have you.
Mm.
My intention is not to minimize it, because it is a problem. It's just they're capitalizing on the term.
Yeah. Yeah. It's usually a dosage of, or you meet with some other doctor or take some medication.
Oh, it's the psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote about this in the Anxiety Answer book. The psychiatrist is, arguably the biggest drug dealer there is. So, the primary care physician sends you off to the psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist gets you on a cocktail of drugs. And talk therapy is a really big thing now. talk therapy is essentially prostitution. You're paying somebody to act like they care. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Can talk therapy help? Yeah, it can help. But people get addicted to it. They get so addicted to it that they fool themselves into thinking that their therapist is their friend. And then everything that happens in your life, good, bad, ugly, you're like, I can't wait to talk to my therapist. I wait till I tell. All right, stop paying them and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with therapy. I know therapists, tons of them.
Yeah.
Tons of them. I dated a therapist a few moons ago. And believe me, they need therapy.
Yeah, really.
Why would someone become a therapist? Because their mental health is in the gutter and they had to...
Trying to understand more about...
Right. Yeah. So, you know, it's a healing process with the mind. There's a computer in your skull, and it spits out data. That's just the bottom line. And that data is going to be... The root cause of that data is going to be you losing control of it, or it could be a nutritional deficiency. I would say some of the bigger mental conditions are nutritional deficiencies, schizophrenia, bipolar, things like that. But a lot of the smaller stuff like anxiety, depression, not to minimize it, but, you know, you're not going to a psych ward for anxiety. A lot of that is you're just losing control of your thoughts. You're losing control of the computer.
Would that be programming? Like,
it's programming, right?
Okay.
Right. That's why we use the analogy of a computer.
Jeez.
So, you know, the inner child is going to do what the inner child does. And you can't...
That's where it's stemming from, right? The inner child.
Yep, the inner child is the subconscious mind.
Okay.
Yeah. There's essentially two parts of your brain. You got the adult and the child. The adult is the executor. The adult is the one that says, go brush your teeth, man. The adult is the one that says, hey, did you take your supplements today?
Yeah.
You know, how many steps did you get today? But the inner child, that's what takes you into dreamland.
And what is dreamland like?
Dream-based reality is just when your inner child just goes off. And it can go to the future or it can go to the past. So the past is, you know, that's where depression lives. That's where regret lives. That's where anger lives too. Anger doesn't exist unless you blame somebody. You can't be angry if you're not a victim. It's not possible. Like if you kick me in my leg, I would, you know, the response would be, why the heck did you kick me in the leg?
Yeah.
And so after the pain starts to wear off, it would be anger because you kicked me in my leg. I'm a victim. You kicked me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same way with you know, mental stuff. Your mom did this to you. Your neighbor did that to you. So you blame. You become a victim. And that creates frustration and anger.
And what is it? You're angry for so long, you kind of forget the source. You just get angry
Yeah.
at anything similar to that, or
Yeah.
that's like programming.
It becomes a program.
Oh,
It becomes a pattern.
dang.
Yeah.
So
That's the past,
Mhm.
really, mostly. The past is a graveyard. It doesn't exist. You think it exists, but it doesn't.
And
Can you put the screen back up?
Yeah.
The crowd?
so what would you then? I know, like, going into the membership, that's the answer to start addressing that, because you had the mindfulness course. But what am I trying to ask? How, like, where do you even start? Like, what is it? Like, I know you actually talked about the ego. And so that's where it starts. That's essentially what the mindfulness curriculum is about, right?
Well, the cheat code.
Mm-hmm.
The cheat code to inner peace. 3 A's. It's acknowledgement, acceptance, and appreciation. I added acknowledgement because if you don't acknowledge it, then you're in trouble. If you don't acknowledge it, then you're really stuck in dreamland.
So acknowledging you have the problem.
Acknowledge that you have a problem, and then accept that you have the problem, and then appreciate that you have the problem. A.
Appreciate that you have the problem?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You're being taught a lesson.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
You're in school here. You know, this is a school. You're in a school.
Interesting.
But I was saying that, you know, the past is a graveyard because everything there is dead, you know. It's already done. It doesn't exist really anymore. But the future is a fantasy. That definitely doesn't exist. You know, tomorrow isn't real. And that's where anxiety lives. That's where worry lives. So if you don't understand this stuff, you can get lost real quick. And people do. They get lost and they don't know what to do. And so what do? They go to their primary care physician. They didn't read this. They didn't read the red book. They go to their primary care physician. The next thing you know, they're on Xanax or whatever else, drugs, benzos they're going to give you. And, you know, they're on Ambien and all this. And then they're in their psychiatrist's office, you know, pretending to be friends. And, you know, it's just this long thing. All you had to do was the mindfulness training, head to toe healing. All you had to do was head to toe healing.
That is another treatment plan, which I don't know why I'm just now realizing that. But, like, you get on the medications and then you got to keep seeing the psychiatrist, and you could just keep talking. The issues are going to persist, you know, because
A lot of them don't even want to talk.
yeah,
You go into the office for 5 minutes just to get your drugs.
yeah.
Psychiatrist just gives you a little small talk. How you doing there, buddy? Here's your script. There you go.
Get out of
Hey,
here.
get out of here. I'll see you next time when you're ready to come get some more drugs over here. You know, I'm just the corner boy on the corner for the cartel.
Jeez. I notice nowadays with my peers, my generation especially, that a lot of people want to be sick. They want to have some type of, and this is, again, not to negate anything, but they want to have some type of, they want to know that they're on the spectrum of either autism or something along those lines. They want to have some type of mental disorder just so they can kind of have something that says, see, I'm at a disadvantage, so please take it easy on me, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Is that programming too? What is that about?
Yeah, I mean, well, People love sympathy.
Well, where does that even
They
come
want to
from?
be able to justify the shortcomings. But the real shortcoming is them not putting in the work. There's no magic pill. Though we've been scammed into thinking that medicine is the answer. Yeah, if you have a cut or a wound or even an infection, but I think our way is much better. Head to toe healing as a practice. You have to heal your mind and your musculoskeletal system and your biochemistry. You have to heal all three at the same time.
That always seems crazy to say that, like, your mind can help you heal your conditions, your bodily, physical conditions. I still think some people think you're cuckoo for saying that. But what is your response to that?
Like I write about in the books, I mean, if you have a pain in your left foot, you can heal that left foot with your mind. Not every time. That's why head to toe healing has to be a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 effort.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And
Also, without your mind, you won't do the other stuff. It's
Yeah.
your mind that makes you do the postural therapy. It's your mind that makes you go outside and, call your friends and call your mom and just do the stuff that you know is going to make you feel better. It's your mind that does that. And it's your mind that stops that if you have a mental problem, an attitude problem.
Speaking of it, Ryan, 1/3 is obviously nutrition. What would you say to the nutritional deficiencies of some of the disorders like schizophrenia and bipolar and whatnot?
Well, to me, schizophrenia is mostly a B vitamin deficiency.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one who thinks that. This has been talked about for at least 50 years. There's a bit of a debate whether it's more important that it's niacin or B12. Either way, B vitamins. But if you'll let me, I actually put together a list of all the nutrients that were directly associated with either depression, anxiety, or irritability.
Let's do it.
Could be digestive enzymes, vitamin A, vitamin B1, niacin, B3, B5, pantothenic acid, B6, pyridoxine, biotin, folate, B12, vitamin C, vitamin D, tryptophan, omega-3, calcium, magnesium, iron, lithium, molybdenum, rubidium, selenium / vitamin E because they work together, zinc, chromium, vanadium, zinc, magnesium for blood sugar. Anxiety could be enzymes, niacin, B5, tryptophan, calcium, magnesium, selenium, or vitamin E. Irritability could be enzymes B1, niacin, B5, B6, biotin, folate, B12, vitamin C, iron, magnesium, or potassium. And that's only what I have in my little archives here.
You're like a NutriBot, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So when we talk about nutrient deficiencies, sometimes we just say it blatantly like that. And that's what it means. When you look into basically any problem, there's going to be a long list of nutrients that are directly connected in some way. Just like that.
Lithium's a big one. That's a big one. I mean, there's a lot there besides lithium, but
Just crazy, honestly.
well, think about it like this. If you have nutritional deficiency and your mind is not working properly, now your mind or your brain is, for a lack of a better word, it's handicapped. It's disabled. And then all of a sudden something stressful happens in your life, and perhaps you're not able to handle that stress anymore because of the nutritional deficiency. You think about a lot of our ancestors centuries ago, they had to deal with a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on the village, you're hanging out, and all of a sudden the Viking ship pulls up. Okay, that's stress. That's not like, New Age stress. That's like the barbarians are coming, run. And, I don't know. I haven't looked in the history books. I don't know if people had PTSD and depression and anxiety back then. I think they had more nutrition because the soil was much more nutritious than it is now.
Mm.
What do you think about that, Ryan? Does that sound about accurate?
Yeah, it sounds about accurate. They were also eating real food, you know. They were getting lots of
No
fresh
Doritos.
air
No
around being. Yeah,
Doritos.
there's no EMFs in the way. There's no
Yeah.
social media and all these other artificial stresses that we've created in our life, which also depletes more nutrients. So yeah, soil depletion is the backbone of it, but then it spirals out from there. We've done a lot to either take nutrients out of our food supply and out of our bodies or create new stresses. We've done a great job at creating new stresses that deplete more nutrients.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Blood
I think-
sugar issues, of course,
Yeah.
play a factor with the mind. You got to figure some of these serial killers and school shooters and probably all have wacky blood sugar situations and nutritional deficiencies. And, you get one of these 15, 16-year-old kids who's bullied and they finally snap and have enough, and then they go do something, bad, so to speak. And yeah, it's the perfect storm of nutrition and a lack of mindfulness, and posture could play a part too with a compressed nerve, or even someone that's just in chronic pain. It's just miserable. But there's a lot to it. And the medical monopoly in this new era just puts this stamp on it as mental health. Poof.
Yeah. They're really controlling all those industries that keep people sick.
Oh, this may have already happened, but I would imagine mental health is going to get a month at some point. They're going to get a color at some point.
Oh yeah, it's
It's going to be mental health month, every April or whatever. And then there's going to be a color, and you're going to see it on the NFL. You're going to see it on the WWE. You're going to see it on the Olympics. You're going to see it on TV. And they're going to promote. And it's going to drive sales to drugs and psychiatrists and whatnot. And this is the scam. This is the scheme.
so interesting. Really quick, I wanted to hop over to our members room. But before we do that, if Coach Karen, if you have any extra comments that you want to say, of course, we would love to hear it.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here. Couple things came up when you were talking. Once people enter the medical system because they've got a mental crisis of one sort or another, they label them. And then once they're labeled in their medical file, that's with them for, I don't know if it's forever. Do you know if it's forever, or is it just temporary? Because it causes a whole host of other things.
Yeah.
I think it is. You have that med health profile, whatever it is, and kind of carries over. Like, I remember no matter where I was, the doctors always had my file. Just, despite the hospital, despite the urgent care or whatever. Yeah, it's just a file that builds with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, and it seems like once you have that label, it's going to travel with you forever. It's like you have the mental health disease.
mm,
And it almost seems like in talking to other individuals that they're leery of sharing that they have issues because then it's going to be on the record.
yeah. Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
was right. Denise was writing, the file follows you, especially if you're labeled non-compliant.
Oh,
And
But Sean, you were saying a lot of people your age want that label.
yeah.
Why do you think that is?
They
They're weak.
no. I mean, I just feel like people, especially
weak.
because social media, they always comparing. They just want something that, as Dr. Reese said before, something that makes up for where they lack. And so that's the only answer, because they don't want to do the homework of like going into their traumas, going into their past essentially, and addressing those issues. They don't want to address the issue at root. They just want an excuse so they don't have to do all the work. So they can just
An
say,
excuse.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're a
I like
generation of
mine better.
excuses.
They're weak.
No, we just want excuses, man.
That's what it is. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
I mean, excuses is a form of weakness.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like,
Call them weak.
you know,
Excuse-itis.
It's
excuse-itis.
also that individuals, I can't say a particular generation, but it seems like individuals want a get off work for free, like get out of jail free card, kind of like Monopoly, but it's get out of work free card
Yeah.
for, and it gives them something to say, something happened in my life. I broke up with my boyfriend and I can't handle work today because I'm just distraught. I need a mental health break,
But
or
have you
it-
seen, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like, have you seen all of the benefits you get from just having an ADHD or a neurodivergent diagnosis, which means anything between autism, bipolar, ADHD, ADD, any of those. If you get a diagnosis, it's kind of like tempting. You can get into aquariums, you can get into any national park, you can go to like the libraries, you get a discount for certain amusement parks. You get so many perks from having this diagnosis. All you have to do is go get the diagnosis, go get that script, and you get a little card, and you're able to get into a lot of things. It's almost like a timeshare or something in a way. It's like all you have to do is get that one thing, and it unlocks all of these benefits. It almost makes it tempting to get it,
Wow.
No, a lot of young people are trying to get that medical marijuana card too.
Yeah, that's another thing that helps you get the medical marijuana card.
Oh yeah, they want to walk into the dispensary and see the yellow hairs and the purple hairs, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I saw this in HBO or something."
Yeah,
And
it's
at
crazy.
school, you get extra time too, right? And you might
Oh, yeah.
be able to go into a special room.
Yeah.
And these days, that might make it easier to cheat too. I'm just saying, cheating's a big problem, and get away from the main room might help you. Someone in the comments on Facebook said, "Now you can have your dog with you everywhere all the time."
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a thing too.
Yeah.
It used to only be like seeing eye dogs. Now it's like you can have a dog with you for anything, almost anything. There's so many different mental health diagnoses out there. There's thousands and thousands of them, and I'm sure most of them you can have your dog with you for it. It's just it's another privilege.
Oh, yeah. That was a big thing in my college. Usually dorms would not accept pets, but if you had a medical excuse, you could have I forgot what it was called.
Emotional support animal.
Yep. Emotional support animal. And it didn't matter if people were allergic. They kind of just had, well, I think there were some rules, like had to get a certain type of pet, but it's there. You could get whatever you want. All you have to
Something
do is
tells
get
me
diagnosed.
it's not a pit bull. Something tells me.
No, never that. Never that. But like you get whatever you want with that card. All you got to do is get the label. Get the label.
Could I throw something else in here as well with
Mm-hmm.
young people? I think a lot of it has to do with a lack of identity in general. We're a generation that's kind of been stripped from our past, and we're not even taught the great works of the past anymore, and we're taught that everything in the past was bad and racist and all this stuff. The school that I went to as a kid has been renamed now. I can't even pronounce the name now. And so we're taken away from our past. We don't have much of a culture to begin with, unless you're from another country, basically. But if you're from America or Canada, we've created all these pseudo cultures, like you hear of like sneaker culture or,
Yeah.
movie watching culture. I mean, these are just such pathetic attempts to create cultures because we don't have one. And if we don't have any skills, which is a big problem in young people, especially today, I talk to a lot of depressed young people. They don't have any skills. They're not part of any clubs and social clubs or anything.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know how to play the piano or the violin or the whatever, you know, whatever. They don't have these skills. So when you don't have any of these things, you have to start to identify yourself by more base things like, you know, what you wear and right, the sneakers you buy and the TV shows that you buy. But having that disease label can be a big part of people's identity. It becomes a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
part of a lot of people's identity. And I think a big problem, big part of that is because they don't have an identity outside of it.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and look, there's a reason why also males have a higher rate of what's the word we have to use now? We're not supposed to use the S word anymore.
Unalive.
Yeah, of unaliving themselves. And I did a video on this for the YouTube, but it's, you know, women are just typically mentally tougher than men. You know, because they put up with more adversity at younger ages. And, you know, these young men are looking for a way out, like we talked about. And if you wake up one day and you're 25, 26, 30 years old, and, you know, you're still in mom's basement and you're not in a position to be a provider, it's very emasculating. And, you know, these young people, they play the mental health card, and, you know, they might go all the way with their depression.
Yeah.
Or they just continue to live in mom's basement and you know, work at the grocery store or something like that, you know. And then the whole family talks about it, and they're like, why doesn't little Johnny, little Johnny's talented. Why doesn't little Johnny do anything? And, I don't know, you know, he's got a mental health thing. And, you know, it's just like this narrative that just keeps going and going. You know,
Yeah.
this wouldn't happen a century ago. It wouldn't happen 200 years ago. Wouldn't happen 100 years ago. You know, probably on the homestead with a shotgun. There's probably 12-year-olds on the homestead with a shotgun. Like, you know, dad is like teaching them how to ride a horse and shoot a shotgun. You know, it's like, it's just a completely different narrative and culture.
You used to be given your identity, right? You used to be born onto it. Like you said with the farm, you're born onto the farm. This is what we do,
Yeah.
right? You're born into the community. This is who we are. This is what we're about. These are our values. Nowadays, it blows my mind that you see like sports stars and musicians, and I was an artist, you know, lots of my friends are artists. It blows my mind when a lot of them, they have kids and they're like, oh, I'm not going to teach them what I do. Even though I'm really incredibly good at what I do, I'm not going to teach them what I do. I'm going to let them make their own choice. But of course, a kid doesn't make intelligent choices. You know, we make choices to eat candy and stay up all night and run around and make a mess, right? You know, Beethoven was practicing the piano at like 5 years old. And now we're in the mindset of, no, we got to let them grow up first before they even start to even think about building skills and stuff like that. It wouldn't have been a choice before. And if you leave a kid, like my dad is an excellent guitar player, by the way, he's a world-class guitar player. And he left it up to me. And by the time I was old enough to make the decision, I was like 13 or something. And it's honestly too late for the most part. It's too late without massive dedication to become excellent. Whereas if you would have forced me to learn it at 4 or 5 years old, I would be in a different career right now.
Right.
With a different identity.
Yeah. You know, Mozart's first symphony was at like 7 or 8, I think.
Jeez.
I don't think it was very good, but yeah.
People still listen to it.
That's crazy, though.
You know, Ben Franklin started young. There's a bunch of people. You know.
But circling back to like the inner child and the adult, it kind of makes sense in a household structure. If the child runs the house, it's a mess. It's chaos. Mm-hmm. If the adults run the household, then it's organized, you know. Mm-hmm. Everything kind of aligns. So I feel like that's what's needed, and that's what's kind of lacking these days. I see it's even a version of parenting, which to a degree I agree with, but I disagree with. But it's like, they're like, yeah, You can do whatever you want, Jimmy, and just trying to get them to be happy, trying to pacify them by
Give him a tablet.
yeah. Oh, iPad kids. That's the generation that
Get that kid a tablet.
that's the new thing. It's called your iPad kid. It's like the kids that, and it's starts with my generation. I see a lot of my friends. We had, we that's me sometimes, but we're on the phone while we're eating. We're playing on the phone, and it's kind of sad. Can't sit there without some type of stimulation. It's like we always need some version of stimulation, and I mean, it starts from when we were younger. The cartoons that we used to watch, you can see how fast. If you watch some of the old cartoons that we used to watch, you see how fast they switch topics. And I think that's a part of what corrupts the kids. And it just leads to just bad mental health growing up, going into school. I think it's a part of it.
Well, the real underlying reality is people are scared of reality. So they have to be distracted from that reality.
And that's another stream of income, distraction, entertainment. I know we're neglecting our members.
We have a lot of comments. Karen, what do you got?
There's no way we're going to catch up with all of them. There's so
57.
Well, we'll forget the socials. Tamara, you could jump in there and help in the members room too.
So in here, one of our members said, "So true. We lost a daughter from mental illness in 2020, and we went through the whole ordeal."
My condolences.
So sad. And then one of our members, she has started the inner child work in our membership, and she says, "It is so powerful. Never had it explained to me this way before, even though I have done a lot of inner child work before. I really appreciate how important it is and apologize to that little girl inside."
There you go.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to say that the 2 new books that are coming next month, there's a lot of inner child work in both of them. Go ahead.
And then another member was saying, "I had a therapist fall asleep once in my session."
Oh my gosh. That's
I
crazy.
laugh now about it, but at the time it happened, I was insulted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fake friends.
Fake friends.
Rent a friend, right?
Rent a friend.
So speaking of renting a friend, one of our members has turned to AI. He says, "I talk to AI sometimes," so he's renting a friend.
I'd rather talk to AI than a therapist.
Yeah.
At least it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Another member, Felicia, says, "I love this program because we have to take massive personal action and learning how to do it for ourselves. I just made a connection on how important the inner child work is in healing."
Yep.
Good aha moment.
Yeah. And in speaking of that, one question that's arisen numerous times when I talk to people when they're just getting introduced to our program and trying to find out if we're the right fit for them. Sometimes they're a little bit leery of meditation, mindfulness, and the training of that it might interfere with their faith practices. So sometimes they think it's a little woo-woo. Is it woo-woo or kind of weird? What are your thoughts on that, and what can they expect if they joined our program?
You can expect healing.
Woo woo.
And then after you're done healing, you can go woo woo. That's it. That's my answer.
All right. And then Dr. Reese, what made you start on the mindfulness training years ago? Because I know you've been doing this a long time.
I had a massive panic attack. 2008, I think.
Wow.
And I thought I was having a heart attack and ended up in the, going down the medical monopoly route and realizing it was a scam. And I realized I had to save myself. And that brought more anxiety. because nobody's going to save you. Nobody is going to save you except for you. And a friend of mine gave me a CD, a meditation CD. I practice it every day. And it just snowballed from there.
Some of your socials, people say you sound a little bit loopy or maybe on drugs, or you're talking really slow and slurry sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you always say, well, I'm practicing mindfulness right now. So is there a deeper purpose in those messages that you're sharing with people online?
Yeah. There's layers and layers and layers. Nobody won't know. Nobody knows what I'm doing.
You're the mystery man, the slow talker.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you go to a party or an event or something, the loudest person in the room isn't as powerful as you think.
Yeah. Interesting. Very true. Yeah.
Another one of our members had said, why don't more people question medication? I watched my mother take a pile of pills for mental health and see her deteriorate over a long period of time, especially the PAMs she was taking and addicted to. She never got better. Why do some take thyroid meds and still have meds, etc., etc.? It never makes sense to me, and I'm grateful that I did not fall into that trap. My journey led me to your program.
Glad you're here. Yeah, as I explained in the Red Book, it's just programming. It's just programming. We're in a position to be programmed. You know?
Doctor TV shows, candy at the doctor's office.
The 1980s, man. Everyone here is old enough to know, besides Sean and Levi. But everyone knows. Everyone that lived through the 80s knows. That's when things really took off because cable television came out. It's that simple.
Wow. Interesting.
What else you got, Karen?
Pauline says, still waters run deep, and the quiet ones are the ones to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And Lori says, be quick to listen and slow to speak.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Denise says, I too have been a devout Christian, beliefs, but can also incorporate the mindfulness training. It helps when you look at your mind and look at reprogramming it. The Holy Spirit is not affected.
There you go. Well said.
Yes, it seems to be the big worry sometimes for people that come in that are Christian or other religious entities, that it's going to interfere with their belief system. They're afraid. There's a little bit of fear there.
Yeah, hopefully they can get over it and get to the healing. And if not, it's not my responsibility to convert them or change them.
Well, I don't think God intended us to have all these diseases of attitude that we've kind of invented in the modern world.
Yeah. Yeah. We were given a divinely designed body that heals. And, you know, I think that we've cracked the code on that with this head to toe healing thing. So, but there's 3 legs to that stool. There's 3 legs to that head to toe healing table. You could make a case that there's 4, with the 4th one being sleep. But
My thing is, and this is like an old quote that Ryan used, that the body has always spoken to us in English. We just never listen. It talks to us in posture with pain, talks to us in nutrition with symptoms and disease, It talks us in the mind with mental health. And so we're never listening to it. We're just pushing it away, told to ignore it, or we're ignoring it ourselves because excuses. And so I think this is the first time that I think God would want us to understand this divinely designed machine in order to take care. I think that's a part of taking care of it, preserving the temple. It's part of it. You got to understand it. If you don't understand it, then you're just as lost.
And there's a computer in your skull.
Yeah.
There's no denying it. There's no denying it. What other... It's not even an analogy. It's literal. It's not even an analogy. There's literally a computer in your skull. And it's attached to your spine, and your spine is a circuit breaker that goes out to the rest of the body. This is real. This is the way you're divinely designed. So you got to hack into it. You got to hack into it. And that's what God wants. He wants you to figure it out.
That's why he gave you free will. All right. Karen, is there any more comments in the members room?
Alicia says we can count ourselves, we can cut ourselves, we heal. Just a minute, I'm not getting the phrase down here right. Yes, we can count ourselves, we heal our body, it knows what to do, we need to get out of the way. The inner child is the subconscious, and it will kick us and kick in uncomfortable situations. And you want to do, what you want to do is question what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. Well said.
So the one thing that we haven't talked about is the people that are new out there today that maybe stumbled onto our live for the first time. They might be wondering, we're talking about all this mindfulness stuff, but what else do we do? How do we put the full picture together? And how could they get started in healing their body?
I think I can take this one. So we're all about, and this is a coined phrase from Coach Karen herself, we're all about addressing the three modalities, the three pegs to a stool: posture, mindfulness, and nutrition. Without one of these legs, the stool will fall. So we do all of these modalities together to reverse chronic disease. This is what head to toe healing is. And so if you're interested in, you want to get started and you're trying to figure out how to contact us, you can reach out to calldrreese.com and schedule a call with one of the coaches. And we have drkevinreese.com if you want to get more information. We have a whole educational library of just starting points as far as whatever you're dealing with, whether it's a postural issue, nutritional issue, or a mental health issue. You can start at the website as well. Either one is the perfect start, but if you want to move forward and get your head to toe analysis, this is where you're addressing or figuring out the root causes of all of your issues that you're going through. That is the start. Call drreese.com. Anything else to add, Karen?
You summed it all up. That's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, and added in there, and the community.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have amazing community with our live classes that we have every single day now. It's incredible. And that doesn't even talk about the added bonus of all the rescue courses that we have in there. And Dr. Reese's voice therapy. There's anxiety rescue in there. There's an anger reset. There's a depression reset. There's so many. And so for people that are really looking for help when maybe it's uncertain in their life and they just need some nudging on getting started, that's definitely the place to start.
Yeah. As Dr. Reese said himself, nobody's going to save you but yourself. We're giving you our whole roadmap. All you have to do is follow it. That's all you have to do. It's about consistency.
That's right. Call drreese.com.
All right.
Set your call up tonight. Sean wants to talk tonight.
If you can find me. No, that's funny.
If I could throw in a summary statement here, mental and physical problems almost always go together. I'm constantly amazed because I have to talk with people who have all these problems. They're sort of the difficult cases. I've got to go in and be a detective, find out what's wrong with their nutrition. And I'm often amazed that they're on antidepressants and I'm speaking to them. And these are usually older people and they seem well adjusted. They have families, it's like there's not an obvious reason for them to have a mental health problem. But that it always reminds me that mental and physical health go hand in hand. And often they started the antidepressants after their physical problem occurred. Or your physical problem can create a mental problem. Your mental problem can create a physical problem. But they usually come to us together. So it is excellent that this program does combine all of this stuff, right? Mind, body, chemistry, as Dr. Reese said. Because if you only work on one or the other, you're leaving the other one out,
Yeah.
right? For me, I was very, very depressed. Nutrition changed a lot for me. It got me out of pain. If I couldn't do a lot of things in life, it caused a lot of mental health problems as well. But I also had an attitude problem. And it wasn't until I worked on that it really got better, right? You can do physical and yeah, I'm not in physical pain. It's great, but you got to do these things together or you're leaving one out and you're still going to be depressed.
Yeah.
And if you just work on your mental and you still have multiple sclerosis or osteoporosis or something that affects your quality of life, affects your sleep, affects your relationships with people, affects your ability to work, affects the ability for you to do the things that you love, what is the point, right? You do all these things together so you can get your life back. It's all one package.
Yep.
Tamara, what do you think?
Yeah. Tam. Tam.
I'm here. I agree with everything that you say. I got so many questions.
What do you got?
Oh yeah.
Well, we only have a few minutes.
That's fine.
It's okay. We'll go another hour.
I could keep these for next week. I get distracted. I'm writing them all down because sometimes the social media refreshes and then I lose all the questions. So I write them as I go along. Okay, so the biggest thing coming up for the socials, some people that are new, they're asking, what is head to toe healing? And are there resources for this?
Yeah, you can go to drkevinreese.com and learn all about it. Head to toe healing is the combination of postural alignment therapy, clinical nutrition, and mindfulness training.
Okay. There's so many, I don't even know where to begin. A question that came up is, how do you determine if a health claim is backed by science or not? As far as nutrition as well.
Well, yeah, I have a whole chapter about this in the Red Book. And yeah, everything's kind of skewed.
And do you believe that there are, quote, like healthy foods out there that are dangerous, like the fads out there? What in your opinion is like a healthy fad that people might be doing that are dangerous for their health?
Yeah, a lot of the extended fasting and the extended, juicing and stuff like that could be good once or twice, and then it just goes overboard. I think there's some implications with carnivore too, but some people are out there drinking urine. That there's some things that could be questioned.
So you think like celery juice? Someone's asking about celery juice every day. Is that overhyped?
Well, why not add apple to it?
Tastes better. That's for sure.
No, I could tell you why. Because that certain somebody promoted it and got it popular. I'm not even going to say his name.
And someone's asking, have you struggled with your own mental health issues or depression yourself?
Not in 15 years. 15?
Okay.
Yeah, about 15 years. But Besides
then
that, besides that dark night of the soul, but that wasn't under my control.
And then like someone's asking about how is the gut and what is this thing about the gut and the second brain? They keep hearing about this. Is this something?
Yeah, it's just if you have leaky gut, you know, the proteins that are leaking can end up in the brain. But there is a BBB, blood-brain barrier, but it can be penetrated, you know, if you have soft tissue deficiencies and such. It's just they're similar. Like the gut is supposed to be protected to not let things out, and the brain is supposed to be protected to not let things in. So it's got a kind of a similar function. But it's all about soft tissue. If your soft tissue is deficient and lousy, then things can penetrate.
Do we want to keep going?
I think one of the reasons they also say that is because there's more serotonin in the guts than in the brain. But that would be a whole nother conversation how, you know, they're kind of misblaming. It's typical of the medical establishment to hone in on certain hormones and chemicals and stuff and blame everything on that. I don't think mental health problems are a serotonin deficiency per se. So I think that part of it's been overhyped. But that's part of the reason they often say it has a lot to do with your brain, with your emotions and stuff. And your probiotics also create a bunch of nutrients for you. Several of them, so a few of them are on the list that I mentioned earlier, B vitamins and stuff. So your guts do a lot. And if you've ever been in stomach pain, you know you're miserable. You cannot pretend to enjoy yourself if you've had stomach pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else you got, Tamara?
Oh my goodness. Audible. Is your book on Audible yet?
No, they're giving me a hard time. So we'll see. It should be up soon. And we have a surprise coming for Audible. We're putting 3 albums on Audible in the next few weeks. So there's going to be a lot to listen to on Audible.
Okay.
How about in the members room? Anything in the members room?
We have lots in the members room. It's kind of there's so much it's getting buried. Let's see. I didn't realize I was going to be called on again. So anyway, so Mary says, excellent conversation tonight. Felicia says, would like to know the others, hear all of our backstories and our healing breakthroughs sometimes. That might take a little bit more time than a couple of minutes.
Felicia says I'm chatty tonight. I just saw that. It's all right, Felicia. It's all right.
That's good. And a lot of our members earlier in the conversation were saying how wonderful the nutritional videos are and how informative. Thank you so much for those. And one of our members said she has watched them all already. Wow. Because they haven't been there very long, and that's a lot of hours. And love the nutritional classes, learning a lot. One of our members was asking about ate a lot of Parma ham over the holidays. Ingredients: pork and sea salt. Is that fake food? I guess it would depend on if it has nitrates in it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That is about it for now that I can see in the probably 60 plus questions, conversations that have been there. Oh my goodness. Tim said he watched all of them too. They were excellent.
Before we end, are there any victories out there from our members? Anything that anyone wants to share? A quick victory lap? Any pain gone? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2,
2.5.
1. All right.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We always appreciate our members, especially for joining us.
Denise says she played pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Actually, real quick, my mom had a really good testimony earlier today. She was telling me how she was doing the postural therapy classes, and there was one incident where she had to run. And she hasn't ran in a long time, mostly because she tore both of her meniscus. So she can't even get on the ground properly. She can't bend her knee to a degree. But she told me that she was able to like run at full speed about a couple of blocks down. And the only thing that was wrong with her when she got to the destination was that she was just out of breath. No knee pain. And she's been dealing with this for about 20 years. And so no knee pain, no, I don't know, nothing. It was nothing. She was able to run without pain. So I was super happy to hear that. And she also plugged us to her friends and family. She was saying all of this is due to my son, Sean, and his
Friends?
his
Friends in the treehouse?
Yeah. But it was really cool. It's cool, especially if it's your mom, someone close to you that you're able to help, that just believes in you and believes you in enough to listen to your crazy advice from this crazy haired doctor guy, fake doctor.
Oh boy. That.
The bumper stickers.
Oh yeah.
One last comment in here from Mike. He says he went cycling for the first time in about 18 months.
Wow.
Wow. Mike, are you there? You want to talk about it? Don't be shy, Mike.
He said he's in bed.
Oh, I understand. I'll be there in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
In the other half of the world.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike, for sharing. And of course, again, thank you all for joining us for another episode 132.
Mike, be ready to tell us next Tuesday.
Dr. Reese Live.
We're giving you a week notice.
We love you. And have a good night, y'all. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Wait, it's over?
Oh, he said next Tuesday.
It's over?
It's over.
It's midnight in Mike's world.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Mike. Jeez. Wow.
Call drreese.com for those at home.
For those of you in the socials, call drreese.com.
You got to go through a process to get in, to
Talk to me.
get in.
Talk to Karen. Talk to Tamara.
Just remember, it's DR, not spelling the whole word.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor.
Dr. Reese, REESE plus PLUS.com. Oh, no, sorry. Wrong one. Call. See.
It's on the screen. You don't
What's wrong with you, man?
Oh, really? It's on the screen?
It is currently on the screen.
It's been a long day, guys.
I got us covered. Awesome.
All right.
Have a
Take
good
care,
night.
y'all. I will sleep good.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.